I lost my nephew, Lamar Gibson. My brother Mo Clever that I lost, his youngest son. So the pain is different for me right now a little bit. So, it's, being easy. But other than that, podcast is rocking and rolling. You know what I mean? We outside.
We outside. We outside. Hello, salutations, folks. Oh, Holden, are you ready?
Almost ready.
Because we're ready on our end. We're live on the EO Zoom network. You were hitting that last button, and now we're live on your Twitch.
Button. We're good.
Boom. Salutations,
and we
folks.
fucking live. We
are live on everything. Salutations, folks.
This meeting is being recorded.
This meeting is being recorded, everyone.
We are now officially being recorded, so we already now we all know we're on camera. iPhone light.
The iPhone light.
So salutations, folks. I'm one half of your host, Liddy Bro FLACKO. You know what it is. This is my other host, our other host, Holden Stefan Roy. Say hi, Holden.
Hi, Holden.
Word. Today,
what's goody?
We are live with our show, Perspectives Pod, and we are with Team Hami General, Harlem's finest, one half of the Restore, Harlem's most finest, one half of the Restore Order podcast, Ike-P the God.
What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? What's popping? How y'all feeling out there, world?
Life is good, man. It's good to have you.
That's what's up.
I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah,
appreciate y'all for having me. Part of so.
Nah, we appreciate you for being here, and thank you to Danny so much, sis, for setting us up. We'll see you in a minute. We already know. Besos, muchos besos. So yeah, we are here with Ike-P, the God, Team Hami member. So like, bro,
CEO,
like
general, all that shit.
Know what I mean? All that. So the way that we usually start the show, right, is like I give everybody kind of like a rundown of how we started to have this show on EOW's Zoom network. You know what I mean? And pretty much it just starts with like last year in the middle of the Liddy Bros project, putting that music out and whatnot. The engineer for the project, shouts to the home of Merker Miyagi from Merker Studios. He was engineering the project, like mixing it down and whatnot, and he's in Montreal. And he might as well be like a New Yorker, you know what I mean? Because he's like a typical engineer where like, he's like, yo, I don't promote the shit that I work on because if I promote one motherfucker, then I gotta promote all y'all. I'm not co-signing all this bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But he promoted our shit, right? And so that got Holden's attention because Holden is from Montreal and he loves to like support Montreal shit, as you can see by his little Montreal finest beanie right there, and so he saw that Merkel promoted it and he was like, let me check, and he also did promote it with like a, very like, yo, if I were to get lit, I want to get lit with the Liddy Bros type shit. Like this looks like one of the funnest type nights ever type shit. And so he, promoted it and that got Holden's attention. Holden already like was running like a review channel on YouTube where like he reviews all sorts of stuff. He was reviewing Griselda shit and all sorts of, old school hip hop and shit like that. And he saw our shit and he liked our shit and he made a review for it. Then I was like, yo, we should do an interview. He was like, yeah, I was going to ask you if you wanted to do an interview. I was like, yeah, let's do an interview. And when we did the interview, I felt like I went to fucking therapy, bro. I was like, why is it that I've done so many interviews and I've never gotten asked questions about my life? Like, yo, we be doing some very like, the outlets we be going to kind of always stick to like, questions about like the music that you're putting out and the things that you're doing in the moment instead of kind of like digging deeper into like your life, you know what I mean? And so like immediately I'm a typical New York nigga, you know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, you get up on some dope shit and I'm like, yo, we should do an interview series together, bro. Where like I bring the homies to you. You know what I mean? And like we talk about their lives, you know? And so here we are, you know, we're almost like, I think like more than half a year in, you know, we've interviewed Wild the homies, you know, and I think it's a dope experience, you know? And so usually Holden has like his questions that he's gonna ask, right? But like I wanted to set it up like first and like ask you to introduce yourself to the people and tell them where you're from and tell them like where your family from, like where you come from.
Well, you already know. If you don't know, it's your boy Ike. You got part of itself. I just had to bark on somebody outside. My voice is kind of hoarse. But if you don't know, I'm Ike-P the God. You know what I mean? Harlem's Most, Team Homie General, CEO, shit like that. Black Moth, CEO and shit like that. 1/3 of the Restore Order podcast, live on 15 Minutes of Fame and on YouTube. You know what I mean? Every Monday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Tune the fuck in. You won't regret that shit. You know what I mean? And I'm born in Brooklyn, raised in Harlem. You know what I mean? Still got family roots based in Harlem and Brooklyn and all that. Family in Harlem and the Bronx. You know, I'm pretty much everywhere, man. I'm from all over, B. Word. Yeah.
Awesome.
And your family, where's your family from? Like your Harlem, like for generations
Brooklyn,
of
Harlem, and Bronx. Brooklyn, Harlem, Bronx, Queens. I got family in every borough, pretty much. You know what I mean? To keep it a thousand. I got family in every borough, so.
Awesome. That is definitely helpful to set us up for the first question I like to ask everybody, which is a bit of a story. When the story is done, it'll land. You can kind of run with the question. We'll start talking for reals. So it starts with my girlfriend, right? And she's washing the dishes, and she's got her phone out, and she's playing that Black Eyed-P song. The I got a feeling, ooh, and she's vibing, and she's dancing, and she's doing her thing. And I'm looking at her doing this, and I start going, yo, when did this song become like chores music, right? Like, because you got to think about this song for a second. About 10 years ago, this was like the club banger that would close out the night at the big moment, and everybody's drunk and dancing and having this great time and everything like that. And then 10 years goes by, and now all of a sudden people are doing chores and exercising to all this kind of music. And it's like the song didn't actually change in any way. It's the same song. But over time, the way that people treat the song has evolved into something completely different in their lives. And then I realized, you know, all them 20-year-olds that are dancing to the Cardi B's and stuff have no idea that this is going to be the stuff they're washing dishes to one day. But that at the same time, even today, people now with the club musics and stuff, it is just dishes washing music. Like when we go wash the dishes, we want to go back to the club when it's like a better time in our mind. So we jump back to this happier, upbeat kind of music. Not everybody, but, you know, like everyone's got their version of this. And that to me was just kind of nifty how like over time, our preferences, the role of music, the environment, everything like that changes because of who we are and everything, and it impacts into our own musical journeys, right? And the thing about our musical journeys is when like we start talking about them most times, you'll see it's usually in that adolescent era when we form our own identities and start picking our first favorite rappers and all that good stuff.
Teenage years.
That's not where the story starts, right? Like if you think about music, it's gonna start regardless of hip hop or anything. It's just gonna be like something that's around you from the minute you're probably born. Hell, it could have been in the hospital type thing. So I got me thinking about being super young and how like when I was like 4 or 5 years old, my dad got these gray boxes, right? Just a different time. And there's the amp and the radios and the tape decks and all the wires are attached to each other going around the apartments, all these speakers and shit. And he'd be busting his Led Zeppelin tapes. And at night there'd be these like 90s fucking dance music stuff. And yeah. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so yeah, there'd be all this like dance music stuff playing out. And
my bad. I had to talk to my daughter. My bad.
No worries. Oh man, you're the guest here. If you gotta do your life stuff, we completely understand that shit is what it is. You
no worries. Sway was dadding from the whole interview.
Oh, whole interview.
Whole interview. Daddy.
I'm not gonna do on it too long, okay?
Okay, but just in case, can I bring the bus to come right around?
The bike? All right, just give me a second, okay? Pardon. Give me a minute, okay? My bad, y'all. I'm here.
No worries at all, man. You gotta be a dad. That's the most important job of all the jobs, right?
Most important job.
Yes, sir. Speaking of that, shoot, we had our kids on the show. On our show, we had a Father's Day special show, which was dope, babe.
That's dope.
That's super
yeah,
dope.
I saw the Father's Day special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah. I'm one of the likes on the YouTube video. I mean, I always make sure to like all the videos. That's very important to me, you know? Like,
dope.
You got to show support. Like, you know, those little numbers, those numbers count a lot for what we do and shit. So,
yeah.
But back to what you were saying about the Black Eyed Peas shit. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
hold on. No, that's just like, that's not where it goes though. It's more important is that when you're little, right? It's a bunch of sounds and shit happening in your life. And you got a whole bunch of technologies and environments and things that are going on. And all these things shape your experiences into the future of the music. So really the question, all of that was a setup to tell us what it was like to be a super young Ike-P growing up in Brooklyn and Harlem, and what it sounded like to be you before you were like interested in music per se, like what your parents and the world was like for you. Because most of us
parents playing?
Not from where you're at and don't understand all the I mean stuff. So like it's almost like a what does it mean?
I mean, shit. Honestly, I was inspired by my mom and my pops at a young age. My mom used to sing and play the piano. I mean, and my pops, he was a heavy DJ and shit back when I was a kid in Brooklyn and shit. So a lot of my, you know, musical choices and shit come from my background as far as that's concerned. I mean, so as I got older, you know, I didn't really start rapping till like 14. I mean, I wrote my first rhyme at like 14 and shit. Oh, my bad. And I was doing poetry first. Lo and behold, I was writing a lot of poetry when I was younger, which was dope. You know what I mean? And
so how did
my
you
shit
get
just it transcended it. One day I just had a rhythm in my head. I didn't have no beat, no nothing. One day I heard Children's Story. That's what got me into. That's when I heard Sickness Children's Story and Big Daddy Kane and shit like that. I was like, You know what I mean? But then I just had a rhythm in my head. I just had like an undeniable rhythm in my head, like a funk, and I just started writing.
And this is how old?
Yeah, how old?
14. 14,
14, yeah. So, but that's what we talking about, right? Like, you talking about already by the time you're 14, you already formed yourself some. Like, what were your parents playing in the house? You know, like when you like 6, 7,
at that age,
5, 6, 7, 8,
not
9,
at that age.
10.
Well, actually, when I was like, actually, let me get to that. By the time I was 10 years old, my moms and my pops were separated. You know what I mean? So my mom's was listening to a lot of shit in the house, but she cleaned up. She listened to a lot of Roberta Flack, Donny Hathaway, you know what I mean? Anita Baker, and I listened to a lot of contemporary jazz. I listened to a lot of contemporary jazz too. I listened to Pat Metheny and Spiral Gyra and shit like that. You know what I mean? I'm not now. I listen to jazz too, people. Yeah, I listen to contemporary jazz, acoustic guitars and shit like that. I like instrumentation and shit like that. You know what I mean? So
yeah. No, but that's dope. You know what I mean?
That's why we're doing this.
Yeah, this is why we asked that question. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
I listen to a wide range of music, man. Like I love 80s soft rock and all that shit. I like shit like that. Like
me, right? I grew up in the 80s, so like I always talk about like growing up, like listening to a lot of Kiss and a lot of like been around the world,
yeah, all that shit.
That type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that type of, you know, like
what was her name? Lisa, that was Lisa Stanfield or some shit like that.
Lisa Stanfield, yeah.
Remember
that song?
All that shit.
Gloria.
The Gloria,
all that shit. Gloria, all that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
word.
And I used to love that shit.
Nigga,
you know?
I remember when Z100 first came out, my nigga. Word. Z100 used to be the shit, B. Z fucking 100. God damn. Yeah, that was a minute ago.
I have no idea what Z100 is, to be honest with you.
It's like it was a radio station out here.
Okay.
that plays like pop,
alternative rock, pop rock,
alternative
like
rock,
that.
yeah, pop rock stuff like.
The
Yo,
play shit like the Eurythmics and what's her name? Like the Eurythmics and something that ain't happen when they playing. What's the fuck? The name is right there on the tip of my tongue, Paul. I just can't say it right now. Stevie Nicks and shit like that.
Yes. My wife would have called that shit off rip. My wife loves Stevie Nicks.
Yeah,
she loves you. But you know what I mean? Like this is why we
shout
ask,
out to
right?
your wife too. I didn't see your wife in a minute. Shout out to your wife.
Blessings. You already know.
Blessings.
But we ask because it's like, look, that's very like, okay, I wouldn't know. I won't know unless you say it, right? But like old soul, right? That kind of figures, right? But the fact that you were into contemporary jazz at the time, you know what I mean? Like shows like another, we're like, okay, well that doesn't figure. And that's why we asked.
To that
you know
end,
what I mean?
You're
like,
definitely the first person I've talked to that busted into doing some Stevie Nicks melodies in the middle of it too. Like that's also mad fresh. But like, it's not even just about. But it's not even just about the music, right? We're trying to get to know you and your story, and like even then. So like when you're young, right? What are you up to if you're not necessarily so consumed by being a rapper? Let's say.
Well, I ain't gonna hold you. When I was younger, I was definitely outside a lot. You know what I mean? I was like when I moved to Harlem at like 11. You know what I mean? I was outside I was always going back and forth to see family in Brooklyn and shit. But as I got older into my teenage years, that's when I started coming outside. And once I came outside in Harlem, it was over. You know what I mean?
It's a different environment.
I seen a whole different spectrum. Yeah, I seen a whole different spectrum of things when I came outside up here. You know what I mean? And I had to go through a lot of blocks up here, like it was hard to walk up and down certain blocks up here at that time. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna hold you. Like to walk around Harlem at a certain time, you had to either be somebody or know somebody. You know what I mean? Or you just had to, get your shit up. You know what I mean? Other than that, yeah. I mean, I was definitely outside growing up out here. I seen a lot of ciphers. I was always on 2/5 and ciphers growing up. You know what I mean?
Well, hold up, right? Because like,
so we don't know what you mean when you say that. Like, I mean, I know what a cipher is, but we don't know the context as much.
That's the thing that we like develop on the show, right? Where it's like he don't know what I mean. Like I be saying know what I mean a lot too, bro, right? And it's like, yo, for him and like other people, like he has his audience from what he does, right? And like he'll have like people tuning in from like Norway or like somewhere in Israel or something, like, and so like those people don't know what I mean. Know what I mean? Like they don't know what I mean at all. Like we're over here like, you know what I mean? And they're like,
right. They don't know what we mean.
Yeah. And so the more that we like describe things, like it behooves us to like dictate our own legacy,
right.
and like explain our history.
And even with that, it's like a lot of people don't think that their lives when they're young are interesting. But man, we've heard about like 5-year-old theater presentations and kids who are like drawing superstars, and like people have all kinds of passions and interests and things.
Sway was the first person to come on the show, and like pretty much like talk about like like being into the martial arts before he's into music. That's interesting. That's interesting to people.
And I used to box when I was younger. So,
hold up, you used to box? I mean?
Yeah, my uncle was Floyd Patterson Jr. and shit back in the days. You know what I mean? So, a lot of people don't really know that. I don't really talk about certain shit like that. But yeah, I mean, I played a lot of basketball. I was very athletic, pretty much. I was on the swimming team. I played softball. Heavy basketball, heavy basketball.
That figures, right? So like something that we could like tell you about is like when we were like before we do the show, right? Like we're live now on EODub Zoom, right? But like before we do the live part with you, the interview part, we like play like your music Holden's Twitch, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like we start like drawing his, you know, crowd and his people first, you know, and we just playing the music. So we playing your music on SoundCloud, and Holden said in reference to like one of your like covers of the like mixtape song.
I have a
like,
Barcos mixtape on there on SoundCloud.
A Barcos mixtape, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And like the cover for that, like he was like, man, this guy looks pretty big.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Huge.
Pretty.
Like
huge,
you're the kind of
you know?
guy where I'm like, he looks way too like I should not fuck with him.
Now I'm not as big as I used to be, but I'm still, you know what I mean?
You're healthy, bro. You're healthy.
Yeah, I'm in shape. That's what I gotta say.
Like you always in shape. You always got like an in shape, right? So like I was then like when he says that, right? Like I explained to him our text back and forth, right? Where I'm like, yo, I need to talk to you for 5 minutes. But like, yo, not that 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Well, and so like I'm
I get it though. I get it.
5 minutes, right? Because that's a New York thing. Again, these are things that if you're not from New York
City, we didn't actually explain what that means now.
You got to shoot
like
5.
We need to explain. Like 5 minutes is like, you know, shooting 5 real quick. Like, yo, you my brother. I love you, but I'm mad at you right now, and I'm mad enough that I want to fight you. So I need 5 minutes. I need 5 minutes with you. You know what I mean? I need you to come into this room with me, and we need to throw the hands right quick for 5 minutes. And so, like, I'm explaining to Holden, but I tell Ike in the text, like,
so
not that
Canadian
type of 5 minutes, though. You know what I mean? Because that's the homie, right? But I don't want him to get confused at any moment. Like, he's bigger than me. You know what I mean? So, like, 5 minutes between us two,
bigger than
that ain't the same weight class. You know what I mean? Like, as a man,
I'm a little wild bigger than my nigga.
You know what I mean? Like, if I had to, because I crossed the line at some point, then I do that because that's man shit, that's grown man shit. But I'm not engaging in initiating a 5 minutes unnecessarily here. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But that's because Ike is always healthy. He's always in athletic shape. You know what I mean? Not just in shape. Where like I'm in shape to work a job that I work, which is a physical job, right? But like Ike is a step further in shape, where he's like, I'm in shape to like do athletic things, you know? So like to find out that you was very athletic and that you played ball and you box is not surprising.
And I was on the swim team. And I'm a shark in water.
Wait, what?
I could swim.
Hey,
and I could swim. And I could swim. And I used to BMX race and all that shit. Let's
now, I mean,
come on. And I could do ollies.
BMX racing?
I used to BMX and I could do ollies. The fuck?
What?
I did it all.
Skateboard, bro?
I did it all, man. I did everything growing up. Hell yeah, I'm very
world. But this is important to like. You see, I'm glad that we
I love all that shit. Nigga, I'm able to get on the skateboard and do an ollie. I can't do an ollie kickflip, but I could do an ollie. You know what I mean?
I can't do an ollie, so I respect that a lot.
You feel me? I could definitely do an ollie. I know the mechanics of it. You know what I mean? You feel me?
Mechanics of it.
I used to freestyle on the bike, all that shit, flatland shit, man. Listen, I used to do it all, man. I miss all that shit, B.
You know what? I can also ride skateboard, right? I don't know. I can't do an ollie, right? But like, I used to ride skateboards too. I recently picked it back up, right? And it's not as surprising as I think to other people it might be. To me, because I remember growing up in New York City in the 80s, and we were heavy in the like 80s on skateboards and BMX bikes. BMX bikes were huge in New York City.
I stayed on the bike.
We didn't do that 10-speed shit. Like 10-speed shit almost felt like racing. Yeah. We was doing. My older brother broke his arm on a fucking half pipe because he was doing fucking BMX bike, you know what I mean, tricks on a half pipe and shit. You know what I mean?
Shit,
like
that shit was no joke.
Like, yeah. So like New York City, though not a lot of people talk about it, like we still are very heavy on all. Like there's still a really big contingent of New Yorkers that like ride skateboard and BMX bike like proficiently.
Yes, indeed.
That's really dope though. But that's the thing, is like people need to know how versatile Ike-P the God is. Otherwise, they're not going to know that you're just even more incredible than they think you are. Because we all know the introductory stuff. But then to add in the fact that you're basically a polyglot athlete. I mean, that's a good way to put it, right? Like, I don't know if that's a real thing, but I think it's clear
multiple. Poly is what?
It's like a polyglot's like somebody who's got multiple languages down, like multiple. And then you feel like if you add
I'll just
in,
say I'm multifaceted.
Yeah. But then it's like that's just like in a complete area of life where people can kind of relate to it. Like somebody gonna see that and be like, bro, the guy does fucking BMX shit. Bro, I do BMX shit. And it makes you like fucking even cooler.
I can't wait for the X Games, B. The fuck? There's a couple names I want to see. I can't wait to that shit. Niggas like Kyle Baldock from Australia. That nigga nice. That nigga's nice. Kyle Baldock, son. That nigga's different. B. That nigga's different.
Yo,
look him up. Look him up. Kyle
I'm
Baldock.
man.
That nigga's different, son. On a bicycle. That nigga goes against all laws of physics, B. It's crazy. There's a lot of them doing that shit now. It's crazy. I got to check it out. Mad, these niggas is wilding on bikes, B. It's crazy.
I used to be really
shout out to Ryan Nyquist too. Shout out to Ryan Nyquist. Nigga, I didn't go from. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. Back in the days, there was they had a two-hit concert in New York back in the days with Matt Hoffman and Ron Wilkerson and all these niggas came out here and did some shit under the Brooklyn Bridge. They had a whole BMX two-hit concert under the Brooklyn Bridge and shit. That shit was fire. And then they ended up having a ride out through the city and shit to their hotel up to like 34th Street or some shit. I remember all that shit clear as day, son. I remember all that shit.
Yeah.
I was outside.
We lived through a lot of.
I was outside.
We lived through a lot of epic shit, and like that's the whole point, right? Is like we got you here because we want to know your epic shit.
Word. I had a whole T-shirt with. I had a T-shirt with like Dave Volker and all these niggas autographs on it. Damn. In hindsight, I remember all that shit. Word. I was a kid doing all that shit.
I never knew that like there was an underground BMX scene that existed. Like, you know, for me, it's like, damn, that's a thing. Now it's like I have to go look that up and see what it's about more. So like you kind of just put in this on.
You see the shit these niggas is doing on bikes now, man. You go be like, nah, word. These niggas is crazy on bicycles, B. I ain't gonna hold you.
I believe it. That's the way it's gotta go, right? Like evolution, you know, like every generation take things to a different place. Like, you know, like even if it's like, yo, even if you don't appreciate it, right? From like coming from a different generation, you still gotta like respect it because it's just like, yo, well, like they doing their own thing. Every generation has to do their own thing, you know?
Right.
And when we've already explored all certain places of something, like another generation, like for them, they want to pioneer something too. So now it might not be like where even with like the you know mumble rap shit, right? Where it's just like that's where you expect them to take it. Like we took diction and clarity and precision of bars to an extremity in one direction. Like they're just like, well, fuck it. I guess we're going to explore this other direction. You know
all they doing now is manipulating melody. That's
it.
Exactly. That's all they do is manipulating melody, B. That's it.
Can't compete.
I'm about to use that in a bar.
With people like Redman and Jay-Z
and I'm about to use that in some bars.
No, but even then, I listened to Ike-P the God's Precision. Like that was the fucking thing I noticed about your flow. It is so like, it's like you do it and then you do it so well that why would I like try to like go there with it, you know?
Like I try to stay in the pocket as best as possible. Like,
nah, your pocket is amazing. That's a classic New York pocket, you know? Like,
yo, but like,
and when I say classic, I think that like that's something to be very respected and revered, right?
Yeah, like I like my Ball Cosby
construction Timbs are classic. You know what I mean? Like a polo shirt with that little polo logo on it is classic. That's classic things, the things that don't go out of style. You know what I mean? Like people are always gonna appreciate a classic. You know what I mean? And like your flow is like it's got that like it's got a classic New York where like not a lot of people have it because you have to have a certain pocket to be able to even live there. You know, and sometimes you could have there's multiple people that have a classic New York flow, and all those flows are different. Jadakiss, Fabulous, these are classic New York flows, but these are not like equal, they're not the same flow, either one of them.
Yeah.
Your flow, Moneybag's flow, you know what I mean? Like these are classic New York flows, but they're not the same flow. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like my shit definitely is like
it's a different pocket. It's a different pocket, but it's still a pocket.
Yes, it is.
That like it's like people can't like it's very hard to find people that have that like natural. Right. This is your natural rhythm. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that shit is like, you know what I mean? Well, that's why I say I like my Ball Cosby mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Like I really like
very good.
I like
Honestly, I'm impressed, and it aged extremely well. Like to me, like you can listen to it today and it sounds proper.
Yes, and it's like timeless. I got timeless shit on there, B.
I think a lot of us that don't live in New York though look at that and go, if I do that, it's gonna come off kind of corny because I don't live in New York. And then we just went in other directions also partly because of that. Like, how are you supposed to compete with New York rappers who do the New York rap thing since the days of fucking freestyling in the streets battling in fucking Harlem? I come from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I promise you, my guy, there's no way I can compete with that shit. It just isn't birthed from the same place. So yeah, like I like melody a lot because my city likes melody a lot. So it ends up going in like a slight, not to say I don't care about writing and bars and shit. We all do, but like it ends up partly being that like we don't want to be New York exactly because you don't want us to be New York either.
Right. Yeah, nah, it should be like that. You know, where like like when you talked about like one time we were talking, you were talking about how like it's like there's not a lot of people selling crack literally in Montreal. You know what I mean?
I've never encountered that.
it's not a lot. So like for y'all to be rapping about like the trap house in the same way, like I'm pretty sure there's trap.
Some people
but it's just
do.
In a different, it's in a different format.
It's real.
And, my guys,
and it's a very limited run.
My guys, I hate to be I really gotta cut this interview wild short because I really gotta tend to my stinker, my daughter B, because she's going crazy in here. Because I was at work all day and she was with my moms all day type shit. So can we please, people, all my peoples, I'm sorry, but I would love to continue this interview another day. I got to be on daddy duty time. You know what I mean? My daughter's very demanding. You understand what I'm saying? So all my fans, I appreciate, you know what I mean? I really want to do this interview again. We'd be even more lit. You know what I mean? I really got to cut this short. I really hate to do this right now. I'm not a spoiled sport. You understand what I'm saying? So I really gotta, we could definitely do this another time. All my folks, just let me know when y'all want me back. I'll definitely come back. It's not a problem. You know what I mean? But right now, I definitely got to tend the baby girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally appreciate that. It's very important.
I mean, totally understand. Most important job, yo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all for having me, and I can't wait to come back. For real, for real. Definitely, and we're going to have more to talk about when I come back, so. You know what I mean? Just let me know when and the time, and I'm there.
Awesome.
Yeah, got you.
So with that, I just want to thank everybody out there that's been watching. We appreciate all of you. Thank you all in the future. Thank you to End of the Week, who is definitely hosting them. Make sure to check
shout out to EO Dub, everybody at EO Dub, the EO Dub fan, Big Zoo. You know what I mean? My nigga Ott. You know what I mean? You Dutch. You know what I mean? Sarah. Nunzio. You know what I mean? All my EO Dub folks, B. Word. Rest in peace, my man, Vice Versa, B. Word to mother.
Facts.
Rest in peace.
Right.
Word PH, J.R.'s, my brother Mo Clever. Oh man, I could just go on and on, B. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's one of them days. I'm sorry, y'all. Know what I mean? But I'm definitely gonna get back with y'all, B. For real, for real. Word.
I totally appreciate having you there. Thanks again to everyone watching. Again, just eodub.com to get all their details. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the stuff. And again, we appreciate having you, Mr. Ike-P to God. Live long and prosper, everybody.
Thank you.
And yeah.
Everybody tune in to Restore Order live every Monday night from 8 to 10. You heard? On YouTube.
Yeah.
See y'all again, you heard?
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
All right.
All right, Judge, be easy.
Take care.
All right, Joe.
Peace. We are
Uno.
offline. All right. We online still? I think we're online on the EOW side.
Yeah. That's what I was hitting up Danny. Yeah.
That's okay. Life.
Yeah.
Daddy duty is always the most important of the duties.
Facts. Like I can't even ever be upset at parenting. You know what I mean? Like
can't be upset at parenting.
Yeah. Nah. I already know. You know?
Nah. I mean,
this is why I don't have children, let me tell you. So
bro, I started rapping about not having kids on my mixtape thing. I'm just like, parents get real mad at me sometimes when I flex too hard. They're like, you don't have kids. And I'm like, I don't have kids. Well, let me remind you as I describe my life to
you. Big facts. Yeah, nah.
But that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Now this lady's coming back and checking the stream we were just on to like.
Danny will be here any minute, folks, and we'll cut the up stream as well.
Yeah, now she's gonna go play like her guitar under us rapping, and I think it's actually one of the coolest things to have happen. So she's finding like us talking, and then she jumps ahead, and she'll inevitably find. Oh.
Yeah, I've seen her channel because you posted about it. I checked it out.
Yeah. And then I feel like I gotta like go like, oh shit, remember to skip ahead because otherwise you're like wandering through the first part of my video where there's no rapping.
Yeah.
And it's cool because she plays like guitar and shit under it.
Yeah. I saw. Yeah, whenever you have a chance, cut.
Stream is cut. Okay,